Welcome. Bride of Chucky was released in 1998 and was directed by Ronny Yu. It stars Jennifer Tilly, Brad Dourif, and Catherine Heigl, and is about Tiffany, Chucky's ex-girlfriend, resurrecting the doll and the adventures that would follow that. So I absolutely love this movie. When I think of a horror comedy, I automatically will think of Bride of Chucky. Now, of course, the acting in this movie isn't the best, and the writing isn't the best, but it's made up for by how funny this freaking movie is. I mean, this is where we really get to see Chucky as, of course, this villainous character who everyone doesn't really like, but he is so hilarious in this movie. And Jennifer Tilly as Tiffany, the ex-girlfriend, I absolutely love her. Whenever I see her in anything, I always just picture her performances within the Child's Play series. So let's just start talking about this movie. In terms of pros, of course, the comedy. There are so many one-liners throughout this movie by different characters that are so freaking hilarious. And like, just to give an example, Chucky's gonna kill someone and Tiffany's like, oh, that knife, that's so 80s, because if you didn't know, Chucky was made in the 80s, haha. But she goes, I often ask myself, what would Martha Stewart do? And it's just so funny, Chucky being like, well, what would Martha Stewart do? And like throughout the movie after that, he would be making a joke about it, like, oh, would Martha Stewart do that? And it's just like little things like that that are so freaking hilarious. There's a fight that'll happen later on that is just one of the funniest things you could possibly imagine. This is just such a funny freaking movie. In terms of other pros, the acting by Jennifer Tilly, she's great as Tiffany. Brad Dourif, of course, is always fantastic as Chucky. Catherine Heigl's alright, don't really mind her. John Ritter, who is in this movie, he's alright. Weird casting, but I could accept it. Yeah, that's about it. I think the last pro that I have with this movie is going to be its plot. It's just such an out there kind of plot that doesn't always really make sense, but it adds to a lot of comedy within the movie. So, yeah. Going into cons though, the writing doesn't always make sense. The acting isn't always the best, but the main thing that really hurts this movie is the relationship between Jesse and Jade. They're our main kind of protagonist characters, and they are just so annoying. They get into fights with each other all the time. They're very cynical to each other, and the movie starts out with them being all very lovey-dovey, like, ooh, let's get married and stuff like that. But once it becomes them becoming cynical characters towards each other, always having to one-up the other person, always fighting, it really brings down the movie, and they're not the best actors to portray something like that. In terms of other cons, there's a lot of slow-mo, if I remember, with this movie. It just asks the question, why? It's just not done well. I don't understand why there was so much slow-mo. I mean, I know it's because it's a doll, and, you know, it's very hard to get effects with a doll in the 90s, but it just doesn't look good. I do want to mention one more pro that I have, which is the deaths in this movie. They're done very well. There's a lot of funny different deaths, and the effects are pretty well done, so it's just enjoyable to watch. Overall, I'd give this movie a 5.5 out of 10, and I do recommend it. I do think it's the funniest Child's Play movie within the series. And I know Seed of Chucky is also meant to be a funny one, but we'll talk about that in the upcoming review, because I have a lot of thoughts about that movie. It's not funnier than Bride of Chucky. So thank you everyone for watching this review, and be on the lookout for more reviews in the future. The next review on the channel is going to be Tucker and Dale vs. Evil with my friend Austin Michael. So be on the lookout for that. And after, it's going to be Seed of Chucky, and after that, I think it's Curse of Chucky, the next movie in the series. Yeah, because we only have 3 left after Bride, which I just did. So there's Seed of Chucky, there's Curse of Chucky, and Cult of Chucky. So be on the lookout for those reviews. But let's flash forward to the next reveal.